Abraham's story, we hear about the destruction of two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah. This is one of the most perplexing stories, really, in the Old Testament. First of all, it's very dramatic, isn't it? God destroys entire cities because of their wickedness. And the sin that is usually mentioned as prompting God's wrath is sexual depravity. Remember how the people of the city were described by the angels who went to see if things were as bad as they had heard. And when they get there, they see that things are pretty bad. They have God's judgment to carry out against these two cities. The angels made their decision that the city should be destroyed because of the wickedness. You know, no such cities, archaeologically anyway, have ever been discovered that thought to have been Sodom and Gomorrah. But there were known to be various settlements near the Dead Sea in ancient times. And there's also evidence that there was severe seismic activity in that area thousands of years ago. So some people think that there is accuracy in these two cities being destroyed in some kind of natural disaster. One person even posited the idea that during such an earthquake, poisonous gases could have arisen from the Dead Sea, contributing to the death of nearby populations. An interesting part, too, is the fate of Lot's wife in this story. She disobeyed the angel's command not to look back while fleeing the city. And as punishment, she was turned into a pillar of salt. Now, during our time in Rome, we took a day trip to Pompeii. Pompeii was an ancient Roman city that was destroyed by a nearby volcano. Many of the residents could not find shelter in time and were covered with ash and preserved in that way. Could the same thing have happened to Lot's wife? In any event, there are lots of interesting questions about this popular story. But the story of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah is not really about what happened, but why it happened. Throughout the book of Genesis, there are stories about how the sin of humanity spread throughout the world, beginning with Adam and Eve, continuing to the story of the flood, and into the times when the Hebrew people entered the Promised Land. And each episode of sin resulted in severe consequences. Adam and Eve were driven out of the garden. The flood covered the people who were sinful, and cities were lost, as we hear today. Isn't it true that sin is a destructive force? It damages and it destroys relationships between people. Sin separates people from God's saving power. Sin is even responsible for the terrible wars and violence and bloodshed that we've experienced and continue to experience in human history. And when you think about it, what our world goes through because of sin is even worse than what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. Yet through it all, it is God's desire to save us. He saved Noah and his family from the flood. He saved Lot's family. He will continue to save those who are righteous throughout the stories of the Bible. And it is God's plan to save us as well. You know, regardless of what happens in our world or to our world, we believe by faith that we are destined for God's kingdom if we are among the righteous. That means that we have to be vigilant in avoiding sin. We have to be vigilant in seeking forgiveness when we do fail. You know, the tragedies of the Bible could have been avoided if people would have sought out